Hello, all of you vaingloriously wonderful people. This is the Albany Esperanto, specifically the Romans cab variant of the Albany Esperanto. And there's a distinction to be made here, simply because the regular Esperanto, and we are on Project Homecoming once again, if you couldn't tell by the weird speedometer and the different types of vehicles that aren't available in GTA Online. GTA Online, I can talk. But there is an Esperanto. It's a normal car, but this version of it has all of the GTA 4 handling. There's the body roll, the understeer, the weird engine sound, the terrible brakes, the lack of grip, all of it. And I'm not sure what happened right there. I don't know how I flipped over. It acted like somebody rear-ended me, but nobody actually hit me. So I think it's just Project Homecoming lag. That or this car is just that terrible that it just spontaneously have a collision with nothing. Who knows? There's no telling. But yeah, so this is definitely a pretty terrible car. And it's in the meme class, and I really wanted to test it because it's bad. I mean, if you ever played GTA 4, you know Roman's Cab at the very beginning of the game was just a boat to drive. Sadly, this car, I mean, it has sufficient power, but what it lacks is grip, especially here in the dirt. And you've heard it a lot already, that I struggle between a couple things. One, keeping the revs up high enough that it doesn't shift up a gear, causing me to lose momentum, but keeping the revs low enough that I don't get wheel spin. And it was wheel spin that just did me in here. And honestly, in the dirt, this thing's so bad. Look, it just has such terrible traction. There's nothing I can do. I was on the brakes and it's just sliding. And now I'm on the brakes and it's just not stopping. So yeah, at this point, I just had to continue on down. No, nobody lost a wheel. There are just wheels that you can drive on Project Homecoming. That is the entire vehicle. It is just a wheel. But yeah, this it's pretty bad. You can tell this video this week's a little bit longer, mainly because both the vehicles that we test this week are both really bad. I have previously tested an Esperanto in Will It Off-Road using the power of just PC mods in single player. I do not condone modding online ever, never, ever. Don't do it. You are a horrible person if you do. Don't mod online games. Single player, mod to your heart's content. Online, don't do it. With that said, I used single player mods and I spawned in the version of the Esperanto that you see during the prologue in GTA 5 in North Yankton. It is the police cars and they have snow tires and everything. So I set the weather in game to snow using the mod menu, and then I tested a couple snow vehicles, this and the Rancher, the Snow Rancher, and they did great. And the Esperanto did fine, even in the snow. It went right up the mountain, as I recall. I could be totally wrong, though. Looking at the time that it got, I mean, it wasn't an effortless undertaking, but it did make it. Whereas this is failing for the second time. And you got to remember the rule of Will It Off-Road, the general rule. Sometimes there are exceptions when I think a car's right there, and if I just can nudge it, we'll try it more. But generally, if I try the same section 3 times and it fails, I love that you can just see Charlie upside down in that wheel. The player just rolls and rolls and rolls and rolls as well. But generally, if a car fails at the same section 3 times in a row, it's a DNF. Because at that point, just trying over and over again is just exercise of futility. So this is the 3rd run. I'm trying to get speed, but this thing doesn't get speed is the problem. It upshifts way too soon, killing its momentum. So I just can't do it. And then and you can just hear it constantly struggle trying to keep the wheels from spinning. I did manage to get it up a little bit higher here, but this thing's never going to make it up. Yeah, buzzer. It is a DNF. It is a definite DNF. It's just, there's nothing you can do. However, I was able to spawn in a different vehicle since it's, a server with, a mod menu. And got to the top of the mountain and then respawned in Roman's Cab so that we could go ahead and do a damage descent. Of course, there aren't controlled descents in a vehicle that can't make it to the top of the mountain. If it DNFs during the ascent, there's no point in doing a controlled descent because you're never going to get the damn thing up to the top of the mountain anyway. So it's futile. But we all love seeing these cars come crashing down the mountain, especially when there's a bunch of other people here in the lobby with me, so things like that can happen, get run over by a raid truck. I'm not sure which that one is. I think it's a Karen. But I'm not 100% certain. So this kind of sucked right here. I got wedged, and I'm trying to get the car to roll over. It didn't do anything in the direction away from the boulder. It will kind of roll towards the boulder. I thought maybe I could just get it to slide here, but watch this. Watch what happens. This is perfect. That is so good. That boulder that somebody triggered way up the mountain came down and gave me just the gentlest of nudges, and that was enough to get me free. So yeah, it helped out really well. Because I'm not allowed to have any help. Like, all the other support vehicles help out each other, so I guess that's why they're support vehicles. They don't support me, although they do give me a ride if I get stranded. But I can't have help. That invalidates the results if somebody helps me. If somebody accidentally hits me and it frees me, so be it. Right here, the car engine shut off. And there, it finally kicked back in. So it's taken enough damage that it stunned the car. I don't know what else to really call it when that happens. Oh my gosh, I just get beat up. It's kind of funny. Oh, there's Hobo in his work van on his way to a construction site. He loves that van. I can't blame him. It's pretty freaking awesome. Look at it. It's a transit van. I don't know what they call it on Project Homecoming. It's a Vapid something, but it's pretty freaking awesome. Everybody currently trying to go through the tunnel all at once. Trent decided to go over. It works. There's no way I'm going to get this thing to jump to the wood pile, but I can use Hobo as a stop here. But then I don't have any momentum. This has been one of the best damage descents. It's taken a while, but we are finally down in 2 minutes, 38 seconds. So let's take a look at the damage on Roman's Cab. All of the lights are gone. Oh, sorry, all the windows are gone. Most of the lights are missing. The right rear door is gone. And there is significant body damage. So, yeah, maybe even some bent wheels. I don't think I caught that during editing, but yeah, there's definitely some bent wheels there. And of course, there's a look at our support crew for this week in all of their respective vehicles. And that's going to bring us to our next vehicle. The Grotti Carbonisquare. You may notice something a little bit different about this car. I'll let you just look at it for a minute. Yeah, it's Canadian. This is the Canadian version of South Park reference. Yeah, it has square wheels. And because of that, it glitches like crazy. It's constantly colliding with the ground, creating sparks and damaging the car. You'll see a shot of the front, I think, at some point while we're climbing or right after the climb. I can't remember. But the front end of the car gets pretty bad damage. Like, it kind of makes a wedge out of the front end just going up. Not, I guess I wouldn't call it significant, but enough that it's noticeable. That, especially down on like the lower air dam in the front, it's pretty banged up, and the hood gets pretty banged up as well. Of course, because it has square wheels, it does all kinds of glitchy maneuvers. Makes it very difficult to get any type of speed, because every time the wheel leaves the ground, which is quite frequently, you just bounce off the rev limiter. You can get some speed going with it, but it's very difficult to turn. It understeers and oversteers simultaneously, which is, quite the feat. And then anytime you have to climb, because of the lack of grip, because of the square wheels, you really lose a lot of speed. I was not certain that I was going to make it up here, but it's able to kind of like glitch its way up. I don't know that it's grip that's getting this up here. I think it's just the sheer bounciness of it, bouncing off the terrain, pushing me a little bit forward with each rotation of those rear wheels. And there we go. We got up one of the most difficult sections. Usually, if a car is going to DNF, that's where it DNFs. There are some vehicles that are too long or have really weird grip that have troubles on some of these curved sections. But that long first steep incline is usually where a car will DNF. The rest of them, if you can make it up that, will probably make it all up the rest of the way. Sometimes, though, like I said, sharp turns, especially on longer vehicles and really big vehicles, the sharp turns will do them in as well. Because they just can't keep enough speed, and then they don't have enough grip to get back going again. So yeah, Carbonisquare. By the way, Roman's Cab DNF going up. However, the police variant that I mentioned from North Yankton, in the snow, it got to the top of the mountain in 4 minutes, 8 seconds. So not a quick time, but definitely not the worst we've ever seen. In fact, it got up faster than we're going to get up here in the Carbonisquare. I love the Project Homecoming meme vehicles, and this is definitely, I'm glad we finally did this. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time. I'm glad we're finally doing it because we've had a lot of fun. And of course, if you have access to Project Homecoming and you're a member of the Vainglorious Discord server, then by all means, you're welcome to join us for the next few Sundays while we record additional vehicles. Of course, the next DLC that drops probably, in a month from now? I'm guessing, I don't know, but probably a month from now. We will kick back to regular Will Offroad for that. And of course, even if you can't join us, you can still kind of feel like you were there by viewing the behind-the-scenes version of Will Offroad that I publish each and every week. What it is, instead of having this voiceover, it has our conversation from Discord, so you can hear all of our banter. You also get to see a lot of outtakes, the bits I edit out for this video to keep it nice and consistent with all the rest of the Will Offroad videos. All of that stuff gets left in for the most part. Sometimes if there's like a lull in any action, I'll edit those out on the behind the scenes. And you can access those behind the scenes videos right on the Vainglorious Discord server because we have a section for channel supporters. And you can get access to that channel supporters section one of three ways. One, by becoming a YouTube member. Right now, the channel has no YouTube members. We did have one, but it looks like they've switched over to being a Twitch subscriber instead. But you can become a YouTube member where you get perks, including special emotes and icons that you can use in the replies. Of course, access on Patreon or on Discord, to a supporters only area. Excuse me. And then in the live streams that I do every Saturday afternoon on YouTube from GTA Online, you can use special emotes, and you now get recognition for month after month after month that you've been there, kind of like the way Twitch celebrates anniversaries. YouTube does that now for members as well. So that's one of the ways, becoming members right here on YouTube, or you can make it a monthly pledge at patreon.com/vaingloriousgaming. And those start for as little as $1 a month. So it's pretty cheap to get in. That's actually the cheapest way, is via Patreon to gain access to that. And then the third way is by being a Twitch subscriber, whether you paid for the subscription, whether you used Twitch Prime to get the subscription, or if it was gifted to you, if the subscription was gifted. All three of those will get you access to the Vainglorious supporters section on the Vainglorious Discord server. The only caveat is you have to have your respective service linked to your Discord profile, and then it just synchronizes automatically in the background. Technically, the Carbonisquare should have been a DNF. It failed 3 times going up this section. I almost called it a DNF, but I don't know. Sometimes I get just the stubbornness, I guess it is, that I'm there's the damage on the front end. I knew it gets to the front end a little bit. It's not the air dam, then it's right there at the bumper. But I get this stubbornness, and I'm like, you know what? I think I can do this. I think I can get this vehicle up if I can just find the right approach. And of course, I don't usually do practice runs in any of these vehicles. You're usually seeing the first time I've taken most of the cars up the mountain. And I was right in this case. I was going to call it a DNF, and technically it should have, but we're at the top. Will it off-road? Yeah, that definitely deserves a question mark. Look at it just sitting there. Oh my gosh, it's because it's just glitching in the ground. Nobody's doing it. See, it's still doing it. So, I mean, technically a DNF'd, but we did get there in the end. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't want to ever do it again. Let's put it this way. When I got to the bottom of the mountain, I did not drive this car back up. I spawned in something completely different. A Brioso rally car, actually. It's really cool on Project Homecoming. If you play on Project Homecoming, check out that little rally car. It's a lot of fun. I drove that to the back of the top of the mountain for the damage descent. Granted, that meant that it didn't have the damage that was already in place from the ascent and the controlled descent, but you know what? That's not really gonna matter, and you'll see why in just a few minutes. This is something else. So that time, whatever the time was, 6 minutes and something, I forgot what it is by now, makes it 5th out of the 6 vehicles that we have tested for Will It Off-Road Project Homecoming Edition. It is, of course, just ahead of the one vehicle we just saw, the DNF'd, which is, of course, in last place. And it's 2 minutes. Oh, hey, Shrin, what's up? It is 2 minutes, 49 seconds slower than the Habanero, a vehicle that spontaneously rolls over if you go too fast into a corner. So, yeah, that just gives you perspective. A vehicle that easily rolls over. I love what, Nico's like, this is a testing server. But anyways, but it just goes to show that square wheels are definitely trumped by a vehicle that can roll over. That's just, if you have to choose between, do I want square wheels or do I want a vehicle that's just going to roll over all the time? You want the vehicle that's just going to roll over all the time, because it's nearly 3 minutes faster, nearly half the time it took to get up the mountain. Yeah, Glock, how the guy didn't notice that this is the testing server, because you literally have to type connect testing.projecthomecoming.com or .net or whatever it is. Get a little squirrely because I had a little too much speed, and it's really difficult to steer this thing at speed, but I figured, why not? Let's just really push it to its limit. And I think I'm doing a pretty good job, considering this thing's in the dirt. I managed to hold it together, and even when the back end started coming around, I'm able to keep it from spinning all together most of the time. So whether this be just my own skill or just sheer dumb luck, I'll let you decide if you're playing Will It Off-Road Bingo. And you happen to get that. By the way, link in the description down below to Will It Off-Road Bingo. Click on Generate a New Card, and then tap or click on the things that happen in the video to play along. We are down 3 minutes, 3 seconds. So, through the magic of the internet, we're back at the top of Mt Chiliad. Get ready. This is, I think, a first. Maybe not the first, but I don't know. You'll see. I can't remember any others that met this fate. I'd have to go through the big long spreadsheet of 300 something vehicles and look, and you can do that for me, because again, the link is in the description down below. I just took a big hit to the engine. You can see the front end is just collapsed, and it's like a V shape now, and I'm getting hammered by a lot of vehicles over and over again. You can see half of my health is gone if you look in the lower left, and that's all going to come into play here in just a little bit. Not my health so much as the damage to the car. It looks like, and of course it's kind of hard to tell because of all the dirt being kicked up, but it looks like it's already smoking. However, there is an engine rattle happening. A bad one at that. And I just went flying right there. And it's not the only time I go flying, I don't think. Yeah, I just got punted. I got wedged between a boulder and a truck or two. Now my health is down to about a quarter. This thing definitely pouring out a ton of smoke from the engine. The back end is destroyed. The car just backfired. It's in bad shape. I don't know how much more damage these can take. And from what I understand, cars on Project Homecoming are completely fully upgraded, including armor. So yeah, this last little bit, trying to get past this truck, is all it's going to take to seal the fate of the Carbonisquare. Doing my best to get turned around with the big truck in my way, and then trying to find a little gap to go through, and I did, but the damage was too much, and I'm on fire. And you know, when flames like this are shooting out of a car, what happens next, right? Yeah, you know what's coming. Tire just popped, still burning, and that's a DNF on the damage descent, my friends. However, everybody waited. All the support vehicles paying respect to their fallen comrade. I spawned all the way back at the airport, because that's where you spawn in Project Homecoming. I had to drive all the way back out here just to get you these final shots. But hey, what a way to end this week's Project Homecoming edition of Offroad. And until next time, I'm Brandon, reminding you to stay vainglorious.